Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 3MO run, where we are going to take 3 characters and combine them into a single horrible monstrosity, and see if we can beat Danger 5 with it. Hope you're all doing well. Today, we are going to be playing Triple Jack. This was one of the absolutely most requested runs when I first posted the 3MO mod, and so we were going to do it at some point anyways, because it's one I'm curious to see how it will work, or if it will work at all. So we're just going to jump in and see if this functions. Jack has minus 75% enemy spawns, which means that with 3 of them, we're going to have minus 225% enemies. So I genuinely don't know if enemies will spawn at all. And then when they do, they're going to drop, what's that, times, we get plus 600% materials dropped from enemies, so that's going to be times 7 materials dropped, and enemies have approximately plus 600% health, less than, I guess, plus 500% health, so enemies are 6 times as healthy, a little more than that, and do a little more than double damage. So this is going to be very interesting. If we get hit, we're going to take a ton of damage, and it's going to be hard to kill the enemies, assuming, of course, that Triple Jack actually spawns enemies at all. So let's see how that goes. Here, I think there's a couple choices for weapon. We could go with Knife, which would let us get massive critical hits. That's the best melee weapon, I think, for this build. We could go with Revolver, which is what I recommend for Jack generally, or we could go with Laser Gun. I think if enemies spawn at all, the Laser Gun is going to be our best bet, because it will be very few of them. I think there is a minimum number of enemies that can spawn per wave, so I think even with minus 225%, we will still see some enemies spawning, but we're about to find out. And the Laser Gun will help us one-shot them, even though they have 6 times as much health as normal. Alright, so enemies are spawning, which is good. They are taking 40 damage and dying. These enemies should have, I believe, 24 HP, because they have 4 at base, and it's multiplied by 6. And they're giving us 7 materials every time they die, which is a lot of materials, obviously. But we will have to see whether we can survive as enemy HP scales massively on into the mid-game. I'm going to reroll here, actually. I would take Harvesting on a normal build, but I don't think Economy is going to be our challenge, given how much money we're generating. And I really just want anything that increases our damage output. Let me roll one more time. I'm going to take the attack speed. That's the most important for laser guns, is attack speed. So we'll pick that up. Let's roll here, and then I will roll again. Can we get another laser gun? Good. We did. Propeller Hat would be an okay economy item, but much worse for this character, which is going to have very few enemies spawning. Take the laser gun. Lumberjack Shirt is very good for the Jack, because trees benefit from the HP increase. So trees in this mode are going to have some ridiculous amount of HP. So the Lumberjack Shirt will help us not spend a gazillion attacks killing them. That's a technical term, of course. Plant, I don't think we want healing. We're just going to want enough max HP and armor that we don't die, and like tardigrade will be important for this build, but I don't think healing is actually going to be that important. I also note that even though Jack normally cannot spawn horde waves, Triple Jack apparently can spawn horde waves, so we have a horde wave upcoming. Because Jack has a secret mechanic where you always get, or like unlisted mechanic, it's not really a secret, but you always get 3 elites, no hordes, when you play Jack. But that apparently doesn't happen when you play GMO Jack. So we are going to have to find a way to deal with a horde, which means we're going to need piercing and a lot of attack speed. I think I still just need to roll for more attack speed at this point. Luck or harvesting would both be fine, of course. Crit chance is okay, but I think we want our base damage to be high enough and not have to rely on critical hits to just one-shot everything. So it's a choice between re-rolling or just taking the harvesting here. I'm going to take 5 harvesting. I'm not going to emphasize harvesting, and if I was going to do this, I should have done it on wave 1, but I think just getting harvesting growing will have enough value that I can afford to not spend on attack speed or rolling for attack speed. I'm going to roll here for more laser guns, and then we'll go ahead and pick up a 6th laser gun, which is great. And so we're doing decent damage. We've got only 5% bonus attack speed, but hopefully we get more soon. These enemies already have more than 44 HP, and there's very few of them. So I don't know that we're going to make that much money as we continue to... Ow. Okay, I really need to not walk into enemies like that. Is there any chance we can kill the tree? Okay, we can. I really don't know how much money we're going to make, because while enemies drop 7 times the materials they would normally drop, there's a lot fewer of them. So right now we're still obviously quite ahead of the curve in terms of economy, but that may not stay the case for very long. We definitely don't want lifesteal. This build attacks so slowly that we would want regeneration anyways if we built healing. I'm going to roll here. I really want to roll for attack speed, so we'll just take any attack speed. Max HP, armor, luck, all would be good. I could also roll for attack speed. I'm just going to take the max HP so that we can hopefully not get one shot. The level 2 laser gun attacks quite a bit faster than the level 1. The actual damage increase isn't that much. I should have bought the coupon first. That was a mistake. I cost myself 1 material or whatever doing that. So that was an error. But the level 2 laser gun, mostly it's better because it attacks faster. I take the coupon and the lumberjack shirt, and then we will roll. I will take the scar here, and we will go ahead and buy this laser gun as well. I'm not buying scared sausage because we just want to one-shot everything. And we don't want to have to invest in elemental damage. 59 damage out of the level 2 laser guns. Still not enough to clear these enemies in a single shot. Really need to be careful because I think at this point, even with 23 HP, these enemies will almost one-shot me. I think they probably do about 14 damage, so I guess they'll two-shot me here. Level 2 harvesting I could take. I could also take 1 ranged damage. I am going to take 1 more harvesting upgrade so that we can get to 21, but then that'll be it. And here, 9% speed, I'm taking over 5 harvesting because move speed's going to be really important, and we'll take 8% damage because it's a level 2 upgrade, and we need damage. Grab the broken mouth to try to avoid getting one shot. Take the coupon. Cake, that's going to be good. Compass, I think I do want, because I just want movement speed quite badly, and then we're very happy to take the coffee and the broken mouth here. Going to wave 5. This move speed's a lot better. I really need some kind of area of effect. Baby with a beard, for example, would be excellent, but... And I don't know what the horde wave is going to look like with minus 225% enemy spawn. Actually, let me just check my stats here. Yeah, it is showing minus 225%, so we're still getting enemy spawns even with huge negative enemy spawn percentage. I'm also curious what it'll look like if I find a gentle alien or a mouse or something like that that increases enemy spawns, whether that will have any effect at all. Making very good income this wave. I'm going to take the 12% damage here, of course, and then 15% attack speed. That's absolutely perfect. We will take the coffee and the broken mouth, skip alien tongue. We don't need pickup range for anything. I could take white flag. This would reduce the number of enemies we're spawning even further. Normally a terrible purchase for Jack, but I don't think it matters for this version. But 58 for 5 harvesting, I actually don't think is that great a deal. I guess it gets me to 21, so actually I am going to buy the white flag here. It pulls a unique out of the pool. 58 for 5 harvesting's kind of bad, but it gets my harvesting to 21, so it's growing faster. And I don't think that the loss of enemy percentage will matter, because going from minus 225 to minus 230 doesn't seem likely to do anything, though who knows at this point. Definitely taking the snail. Slower enemies will be really important. And we're very happy to find reinforced steel as well, because ranged damage scales really well with laser guns, which get 450% ranged damage scaling at level 2. Our bonus damage to the elite should help us clear elites much faster, as long as I've got enough damage. We're doing 69 damage also on our laser guns, so everyone celebrate in the comments. get your party horns out and celebrate as seems appropriate to you. Alright, 17 damage from one projectile, and I currently have no healing at all. I definitely need some form of healing now, actually, because I have enough maximum HP that we're not just getting one shot. But of course, that doesn't help that much unless we have a way to heal back to full. Here, damage, dodge, ranged damage. I think the flat damage is better than the percent damage, but this is a level 2 upgrade. This is a level 1. I'm going to go with the level 2 upgrade. Very, very happy to see this small magazine. That's huge for us. And in fact, we're going to buy this entire shop. This is probably the single best item we could have seen. And I'll roll here. I'll take the plant as well. I'm considering glasses. Range is pretty important when there's so few enemies on the map. And going up to 560 range means we can maybe stay a little further from the enemies and start shooting earlier, so more spawn. That's the theory anyways. So I am actually going to take range, I think, when we see it here. Lock the hedgehog. I will do one more reroll, and then we're actually going to lock a couple more items. Luck is definitely not great. I should probably let the on this character because we have there's no enemies on the map, so there's nothing to generate crates for us. Oops. I almost walked into that healer and took a bazillion damage. Once again, a technical term. Notice that trees are not affected by the material changes. Oh, can we kill this loot alien? It was very difficult, but it spawned so many materials. Trees are not affected by the change in material drops. They always drop 3 no matter what. Definitely taking that. I could take 60 range here. I actually kind of like building range on this character. I'm going to take 2 armor as well, just helps keep from being one-shot a little bit more effectively. We're going to buy all this. We're not as ahead in terms of economy as I was expecting. Obviously, 400 on wave 7 is very good. That's 100 or 150 over what you would normally expect, but I was kind of expecting to be way over. When playing double jack, we were wildly ahead economically, or playing loud jack. Yeah, I guess I never played double jack because it wasn't selectable in the old GMO mod. Take the laser gun. Do I want to reduce my range damage by 1 for 30 luck? I think I do. We are getting a lot of levels, so the luck will give me quite a bit of additional stats from the extra levels there. We have 2 regeneration. Can I afford to buy the weird ghost? I think I can. We're close to getting one shot anyways, so I'm going to pick up the weird ghost. We're not going to heal back to out of one shot range this wave, but I think on wave 8 I can avoid being one shot, and the weird ghost is pretty important because we just need to have enough HP that the bosses don't one shot us. I've been building range. I'm not going to lock the glasses though. The enemies here are taking a lot more hits than I was expecting, so this weird ghost is starting to look a little bit dangerous. And we're now at the point where enemies can fail to drop materials, which is kind of a problem. Jack normally, again, has a hidden mechanic where all enemies always drop materials. For most normal characters, in later waves, there's a chance that they don't drop materials. But for Jack, they always do. But on GMO Jack, it does not seem to function that way, so enemies are not dropping materials sometimes, and that's costing us a lot of money. Whoops, took a hit there. Trying to kill this loot alien, but it is quite difficult. Look at those gigantic materials. We left so much on the ground there, because I just had to run around. So the weird ghost did not work out. That was actually a bad pick. I thought we would have enough damage to kill those enemies faster than we did, but as it turned out, we did not. Definitely going to take the HP, or the move speed there. I'll take the HP here, and then we will take attack speed. The Lucky Charm was costing me there, so that's kind of a problem. Pumpkin is interesting. Laser does have piercing damage loss as it pierces. How often are we going to pierce? Actually, we have a horde wave, so I should buy the pumpkin so we can pierce for the horde wave. I'm not going to buy tentacle. We already have -9 crit chance, so we don't want that. We are going to take the tree and the laser gun. Another wheelbarrow, I think we actually don't want. I really need just clear speed at this point. No, 16 harvesting is still fine, but I now need to stop buying economy items. I'm going to take the laser gun and one more roll to see if there's anything we can get going into wave 9. Bait is interesting. I don't know how many... I'm going to buy the bait for science, and if we die here, then we'll just run it back. Because I genuinely don't know how many loot aliens or how many lampreys are going to spawn, and I'm just curious to find out. Are we going to get, like, 15? Looks like we only got 1 because of the minus enemy spawns. Lampreys are affected by enemy spawns, but since this run is behaving so weirdly with the below 0 enemy spawns, with negative enemy spawn percentage, I genuinely had no idea what was going to happen there. Have managed to pick up all the materials that we left on the ground last wave, so that's good. I need ranged damage more than anything else, I think. Our attack speed has actually gotten pretty decent for a laser gun build. We could use more, of course, but we just need damage at this point. Really want to be spending fewer attacks per enemy, if possible. Improved tools, sure, 10% attack speed we will take, and we'll take another pumpkin. Now our second shot should do as much damage as the first one. Bowler hat, 15 luck, 18 harvesting, but we lose 5 attack speed. We're not building crit chance, so that doesn't matter. The bowler hat is worth picking up here. I am going to roll. We are going to ignore this harvesting as much as it pains me and look for damage output of some kind. We'll take the attack speed here, and here we're going to take the 2 ranged damage, taking lower percentage things because, or lower level things because they're just stats that we need more than anything else. Upgrade our laser gun. Going to 56 for 1 armor I think is worth it. We don't really need the XP gain at this point. We already have a scar, so we're going to pass on black belt because it also costs us luck. Take the beanie and then roll. Level up the laser gun. No need for the strange book here. Sharp bullet, I think we can safely pass on. We have a native piercing, although we do have a horde wave. And I'm going to need piercing for the horde wave, because I think we're going to see a lot of enemies spawning. So I'm actually going to take the sharp bullet. Kind of painful, but we already have 2 pumpkins. So getting a second pierce, that's -15% damage, and then it's -65% on the third shot. But that will still hopefully help us clear the horde wave faster. And if we find another pumpkin, then that's good for us, regardless. I'm going to take the coffee. I will take Gentle Alien as well, just because it's an efficient way to buy damage and health. I don't know. I don't think that the +5% enemies is going to come into play at all. Here, we'll take the leather vest, and I can maybe start building dodge. I don't like to rely on dodge on these characters where you can just get one shot, but it still does help, so we could maybe build some. Little Frog, I think we will pass on. Clockwork Wasp, with 21 speed, I don't really want to spend a ton on speed, but I think 85 for 5% speed is still good. Jetpack, I will definitely buy, and Baby Gecko, and now we've got enough move speed that we don't need to buy any more again. And then for 37, we're not going to reroll, because there's nothing that we could buy there. Alright, again, just looking for damage output. I'm starting to regret, by the way, my decision not to build critical hit this run. We probably could have used critical hit damage because our single target damage is lower than I was expecting it to be. Relative to the vastly increased enemy HP pools. as always with these runs, one of the challenges, of course, is having to work out what the plan is on the fly, because I've never played this run before, of course, and I don't know what the correct way to build the character is. So we're having to make decisions based on somewhat limited information, whereas in like my normal class guides or whatever, I would just have enough information because I'd have played the run before to tell you an authoritative decision. I'm going to take the garden here, and we will probably just keep building dodge. I think that that's fine. We're up to 20%. 5% attack speed. I think we can do better, and we found 3 range damage, which is a massive gift for us. That's huge. Do I want to start building critical hit? I could buy the sunglasses and get almost back up to 0. I think that's not worth it, especially going into an elite wave. So I'm going to focus on trying to get enough damage to kill the elite quickly. Buy this laser gun here. Do I want a scar for 54 on wave 11? I do think this will be worth it. Scar, I think, is now a lot better to buy later in runs, just because it's much cheaper. So you're much more likely to get value equivalent to the amount that you spent on it. The harvesting we're going to pass on. We just need damage to kill the elite. I will take the lemonade because we have the garden. So if we take a hit, that can help us get back to full health a little faster. Another scar I think I will buy. And then we're going to roll. Very happy to see this shop. We're going to buy the whole thing. So let's go ahead and buy laser gun, dangerous bunny, cyclops worm, and a reroll. And then we can pick up the leather vest here. Take the warrior helmet. And I think I will buy acid as well, because minus 2% dodge for 8 max HP when we have 49 seems like actually a pretty good deal to me. And we'll take the laser gun. So we're going to go into this elite wave. I think the elite will one-shot me, so I'm going to need to be very, very careful not to take a hit. But I'm hoping that we have the DPS just to kill it. This is a very difficult elite to have rolled, also, because it's one of the harder ones to avoid taking any hit from. And that's the goal, so gotta get my movement squared away. Okay, I did tank a hit, but luckily it was a flash and not contact with the elite, so it did about half the damage that the elite itself would have done. We actually weren't in one-shot range, as it turns out, but we were still pretty close. The improved tools, by the way, working very well because we have this garden. I wasn't expecting the additional construct activation speed to mean anything, but because we got the garden, improved tools is actually giving us a lot of bonus healing. And we've been building attack speed very aggressively, so that worked out very, very well for us. Alright, that was pretty good. I will definitely take Sif's Relic. The 3 armor is relevant, and we definitely want to... We've been leaving materials on the ground. Despite the low number of enemies that we're facing, I've built range, and we can't go near those enemies, so we need ways to pick up materials. Take the HP here, and then I'm going to take the 2 damage over 9 dodge. I do want the dodge, of course, as well, but I just think we can't afford to pass damage whenever we see it. Take the level 4 laser gun. So level 4 laser gun, by the way, shoots again much faster and has 500% damage scaling, but that's actually not that much better than the level 3. So laser gun isn't one that you really need to upgrade to level 4, but we're going to do that because we just need every little bit of damage that we can get. But in a normal run, you actually can pass often on upgrading the laser gun because it doesn't gain that much going from level 3 to level 4. Note that the damage scaling stays the same. The attack speed is a little bit better, but not massively better. And the base damage does go up by 30. But at the point in the game where you're upgrading, 30 may not mean that much, depending on the build. So that's one reason that laser gun is kind of a weaker weapon, in my opinion, is that it doesn't upgrade that well. I'm going to combine here and buy another one. And then I will take the Lost Duck. Another Scar is starting to get to be too much XP gain, but this is only wave 12. I will buy one more, and then I think we can just avoid XP gain past that. Keep upgrading our lasers. Baby Elephant, 25 damage, I just don't think is ever going to be relevant in terms of wave clear. I will happily take the fairy here, though, because that's 15 regeneration, so that'll help us just avoid dying, especially as we are going into the horde wave, which I'm very, very concerned about. I'm going to take the ritual. It's 123 for 6% damage. The lifesteal isn't relevant, but we need all the damage we can get, so we're just going to spend a premium on any damage that we see. Ah, come on. Spent so long shooting that ribcage and nothing came out. Where's the loot? I thought this was Dead Space. There's a loot alien, so always good for us when one of those happens to appear. Yeah, the number of enemies on the field is starting to become a problem, actually. Despite our massively reduced enemy spawn, we're still getting more enemies than we can comfortably clear. I am at the point where I don't just get one-shot by most enemies because we built a bunch of armor and stuff, so that part's good at least, but we are starting to fall behind in terms of clear speed. So really need more damage, more attack speed, just more everything. Lens, great. Sure, we'll take another scar. I'm gonna pass on the decomposing flesh. I do think this is a good item for a lot of builds, but we're just gonna build regeneration here. And then let's reroll. We'll take 1 range damage, that's fine. A reroll, and do I start building crit chance? This is the question I keep coming back to. I am going to pass on that because we have 8% damage. And we'll take 15 attack speed because that's great. We're going to buy all of these and then roll. Leveled up laser gun, perfect. Roll again. We're going to pass on the baby elephant still, and we will take the Cyclops worm. Roll. We keep getting offered these scars. The glasses are no longer that important because we're just not clearing enemies fast enough for range to be a factor. Range is good if there are times when you're not shooting, and that's just not happening to this character, so we can pretty safely pass on range. I'm going to roll past the XP gain as well. More XP gain. XP gain gets less valuable the more you have of it, because it's giving you a smaller percentage increase to your total XP gain. And so with 5 scars, we definitely don't need a 6th. I will continue to buy HP, though. We will buy another lure, and we will lock and buy a laser gun here. Roll again. Fried rice, we're not burning enemies, so that doesn't do anything. But I will take the poisonous tonic. I will take the dangerous bunny for the economy. Although actually, so I get a free reroll here, but we won't be able to buy anything after rerolling. Do I take Shady Potion instead and lock the dangerous bunny? I think saving 54 and seeing 3 new items is still better than the 20 luck. Because this build doesn't generate crates, because there's so few enemies on the field, but that could easily be wrong. That's one of those complicated decisions that I don't think there's a purely correct answer for, unless you were willing to sit down and do just a ton of math. And I am very lazy. So far, by the way, the sharp bullet has actually come into play a few times. We're not getting a ton of value out of it, but there's enough enemies on the field that sharp bullet is still sometimes the second pierce is sometimes relevant. And I assume it's going to be kind of important for the horde wave. So pretty happy with the sharp bullet pick. I think that worked out well. And having invested into pumpkins earlier really worked out great for this build also. Also, something that went very well for us here is the fact that we had Lumberjack shirt. We've got so many trees spawning, that would have taken a ton of shots to clear those trees, and we managed to avoid that fate. So a couple things that went well, or good decisions that have worked out to make this build easier than I think it could be. I think this is actually, despite the economy that we have, still not the easiest run in the world. I'll take the Cyberball when it's only 21, and then I guess I'll take 1 HP for 10 materials, definitely taking this. Silver Bullet, amazing, very important as we go into more boss waves. We don't have any explosions right now, but we do have Fairy, so this is worth 1 regeneration, so I'll just take that regardless, and we're definitely not reducing our ranged damage. Here I'm going to roll, I'm going to try to find ranged damage, but maybe I just take dodge? Yeah, I'll take 12% dodge. Going up to 38 gives us a lot more likelihood of actually dodging. I'm going to roll here, and we'll take 20% attack speed. Take the Shady Potion. Medical Turret is a way to heal, but not a great one for this build, so we're going to pass on it. I'll take the Blindfold because we want the dodge. And now we're only at minus 2% crit chance, so if I see crit chance, we'll probably start building that. Do I want the muscly dude? This is 5 HP. Could maybe help us. This is the wave that I'm most nervous about, the horde wave, so I'm not certain what will be good. I'm wondering, actually, if we want wisdom, because horde waves tend to overwhelm you in the later stages of the wave. Wisdom helps with the end stages of a wave. So wisdom is kind of good for horde waves. It's very, very bad for elite and boss waves, but we're already quite good at those with Silver Bullet and everything. So I think I am going to take the wisdom here, and we're going to use it to try to clear the end of the horde wave. I think the newly buffed wisdom is worth exploring. Again, this could be wrong. I'm still not convinced on this item one way or the other yet, so I'm going to keep buying it until I have more of a sense of how good it is. Pile of books, we don't have any structures, so this would just get us basically up to 1% crit chance. That's a very expensive way to buy critical hit, so we're going to pass on it. Power generator, that's a huge amount of bonus damage, so very happy with that. Even though that does make the reinforced steel that we're also going to buy slightly worse, but both of those are great items for us. Now I'll take the tentacle. I passed on one of these earlier. Currently not that useful, but we will eventually want to build crit chance. We'll take the beanie for our power generator. Do I want crown here? We've got 80 harvesting. That's going to go up to 88 at the end of this wave. And so the crown is going to work for wave 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I think it will pay for itself. Is it worth buying it just to pay for itself, though? I guess we have 5 scars, so crown is a little more valuable as well. Plus, you know, if we make it through the horde wave, I think we deserve to crown ourselves victorious. So we're going to grab that. I am going to take alien worm. No, I've got a garden. So even though we aren't generating a lot of consumables from enemies, we have garden, we have a couple trees, we have 3 trees. So I really don't want to reduce consumable healing. All right, moment of truth. Can we make it through the horde wave? All right, this is also wave 14, and the number of goobers that spawn are not reduced by enemy spawn chance. So we are going to get a lot of summons. I need to be very aggressive about clearing those. It does seem like the horde aliens are not spawning at all, or only a few of them. So I'm really interested as to how this is working. I will say the wisdom is looking quite good this wave, because we are now killing enemies in 2 shots that were taking us 3 at the beginning of the wave. And so obviously that was with the reduced wisdom damage, but the wisdom damage increase does seem to be helping us maintain our wave clear throughout the horde wave, so pretty good. Does look like I was concerned that there would be some sort of hard cap on the number, the minimum number of horde enemies that could spawn that would just give us a ton of horde enemies. Horde waves on Jack are not supposed to happen and are very dangerous, but it looks like we made it through, and some of the worse scenarios for how the game could have interpreted this with, again, let's bear in mind we have minus 220% enemies, so what the game does is is kind of random, because you're never supposed to reach negative enemy spawn percents, like more than minus 100% enemy spawns. So the fact that it's working at all is honestly kind of impressive. Take this, and 12% more dodge. We're almost at dodge cap. And then I'm just going to grab 2 armor here, and 6% more dodge puts us over dodge cap, which is great. take all of these and we'll roll, grab a scope. Now that I have one cyber ball, I kind of want to buy more of them and any baby elephants that we see, just because we can start splashing damage around with those. Definitely the glass cannon. Any damage that we see, really important. So we'll take another glass cannon and we'll take a metal here as well. Get our free reroll. And we'll take the shady potion also. Being at 100 HP definitely makes me feel a little better, but I think... So the bosses by default do 40 damage in a hit. The Wave 20 bosses, if you have no armor. That's then doubled to 80 damage on this character, or a little more than that, probably around 90. So our armor reduction is important, because I think we have enough armor that we're taking about half damage, but... So that means we should be able to survive, if I'm doing the math right, 3 hits from a boss in a row. We will want enough healing and percent dodge and armor to try to get that up to 4. That'll give us a lot more safety. But we're not at the point where we're just going to die in 1 hit to the boss currently, which is very important, obviously. Especially because I bought that wisdom to get through the horde wave a little more smoothly, which will have knock-on effects of making our elite and boss waves more difficult. Recycle the candle doesn't do anything for us, even though I don't think it has any penalties really either. And we'll take 12 speed, because that's also 12 damage. Reroll here. Just going to take 2 armor. Yeah, so we take about 50% less damage. Minigun, this would be pretty good. It would mean that we are ditching a laser for a level 3 minigun. It has 2 pierce and worse critical damage and worse critical hit chance, also worse damage scaling off of range damage, but obviously shoots much, much faster. Minigun is mostly good with lifesteal. I think we actually just want to stick with the laser gun to try to DPS down the bosses as quickly as possible. I'd have to do a more math than I'm interested in doing right now to tell if this is more single target damage than a level 1 laser, I guess. No, I guess we don't really have to. So that's 20 times 20 is 400. 20 times 25 is 500 for the minigun. So it's roughly 500 damage per second. The laser gun shoots a little bit less than, shoots for 300. So it's like a 380 damage per second. So yeah, so the minigun is better. We're going to swap to it. I was like, I don't want to do the math, and then I did the math, so, you know, sue me. We will take the banner here. 3 ranged damage on the honey, obviously amazing, really important for this character. And then I will take scope, although attack speed is critically important, scope is still 2 ranged damage, and the range is relevant. And then we're going to grab the med kit as well. We don't need that this wave, I don't think, but we definitely will want it. 1 more reroll, because we could buy something if we see it. Take the heavy bullets. We won't take community support, because that's going to be like maximum 10 attack speed, which for -2 armor and 182 I just don't think is worth it. So the minigun should help us split our damage a little better when there's enemies that have lower than 500 health. Although I think it is shorter range than the laser gun, so it's less likely to actually do damage. But it's worth noting that the minigun is worse than the level 3 lasers in terms of single target DPS. But because we had a level 1 laser to get rid of, it still increased our damage output. And it's also true that this character isn't entirely single target damage, because there's actually enough enemies on the field that we're having to do AoE damage. Yeah, we have 58 dodge because I reduced it a little bit, but I'm just going to take the HP here anyways. I could take 4 regeneration or roll for something else. I'll just take the regeneration. Very happy, of course, to grab the heavy bullets. That's huge for us, and the med kit also. those do reduce our regeneration, which is part of why I grabbed the regen in that level up screen. Sad tomato, that's fine. I'm going to take that. I'll take plant. Lucky charm, I think we're going to pass on. I just want to boost my ranged damage, and more luck actually is not that important for us at this point. We're on wave 17, so we're near the end of the run. I'll take the tardigrade and then roll. Upgrade my laser gun by another metal. Turns out the tentacle was a bad purchase because we bought a bunch of stuff that reduces our crit chance also. So I probably shouldn't have worried about getting any crit chance there. The level 2 laser gun we're not buying. The jelly is worth 2 HP. And yeah, any little bit of HP that we buy will stop us from getting one-tapped. So pretty happy to do that. Got to get back to full health. Tardigrade is great, of course, on the Jack because the amount of damage that it prevents when you tank a hit is so large. One of the few characters that I actually buy it on outside of Endless Mode. Just because each individual damage instance that you prevent with Tardigrade on the Jack is so high, and this is triple Jack, so the damage prevented is even higher. Oh no, the buffed enemies. Okay, I really need to focus down the brain bugs as soon as they spawn, because the buffed enemies tank so many hits. Especially if it gets a ribcage or a tentacle. Overall, I think my strategy for this one was pretty good. Obviously, we're not done yet. We could still lose for sure, but I think that this is how you want to build Triple Jack. I was expecting this to be a kind of a breeze of a run, or if enemies spawned at all. I was expecting this to be really, really easy because we just get so much money, but this has actually been much more challenging and interesting than I was expecting this run to be honest. I was expecting it to be fun, but more sort of the, like, we just get wildly overpowered kind of fun. And we have gotten to that point now, but there was more strategy involved in getting to that point than I was expecting. Recycle the bowler hat. Retrimation's hoodie, obviously awesome when we have this much dodge. And we've been building range, so while that does reduce our range, it doesn't actually even make it negative, which is kind of fun. Roll here and just take the HP and the attack speed. I guess we have 273 attack speed now, so I don't really need to buy attack speed. I should be looking for other damage stats more. I would have taken the ball and chain on my laser guns, except that now, because we got Reformation's hoodie, they attack super fast. It would obviously have ruined the minigun, but ball and chain is a pretty good item, so we could have taken it, except Reformation's hoodie would now make them attack much slower. Buy that. Anvil, yep, even this late, Anvil is good, so we're going to grab that. Baby with a beard does a decent amount of additional splash damage, and we have 2 cyber balls, so that can help us wave clear a little bit. Take the bait here as well, and then roll. Still looking for items that give me more ranged damage is what we need mostly. Roll again, take the coffee, take the blindfold, that takes us back up over dodge cap. And while it's not going to give us critical hit chance, it's getting over dodge cap is still good. All right, let's fight a wave 18 elite. Since we got the hoodie, I think we're going to melt this thing. But the math on these is really weird, so we could end up in a situation where I just don't know how much damage we do, and we just can't kill things quickly. We did kill that elite quite quickly, but not as quickly as I was expecting. So still want to increase my damage by a fair margin before we fight the bosses, because right now it's going to take us 10, 15 seconds to kill the bosses, which is obviously fast, but when you can get killed in only a couple hits is more dangerous than it might seem. The baby with the beard, by the way, is being terrible, I think. I'll check its damage after this wave. But it's such a small amount of additional damage when every enemy has thousands of HP that it probably was not worth buying. Extra stomach. For 67, this will be 8 HP next wave, so I'll just pick that up. And we'll take the head injury as well, of course. And still can't get positive crit chance. I'm going to take 12 speed, would be 12 damage because we have power generator, but I'm just going to take the 16 damage because I don't really need to go. I actually actively don't want my speed to go up to 70% because it would just make it really hard to dodge the bosses effectively. Your reflexes just have to be better when you're moving that fast. So I'm just going to take the damage because we get more damage and then don't put ourselves in danger of dying to just being too fast and walking into the enemies. Baby Elephant is much better than Cyberball on this build, of course, because we get 7 procs of it every time enemies die. It's possible I should have picked this up earlier. I could have used these. I think that the damage just wasn't high enough to justify it. Take a look at the Baby with a Beard. It dealt 3,000 damage compared to the like tens of thousands of damage that each of our weapons are doing. Note that minigun is doing a third of the damage of the level 3 laser gun, although that is just because it's lower ranged. When we face the bosses, we'll be able to test how much damage this actually does compared to the laser guns, which I'm curious to find out. Take the helmet here. Sure, I'll keep buying Baby with a Beard. We will take 2 more ranged damage and 3 more ranged damage, which are excellent. Pile of books. We still don't have any structures that can critically hit, so there's not much point in that, and we have no critical hit chance. And I already leveled my laser gun off the anvil, so we don't need, or minigun off the anvil, we don't need to buy one, so we'll go ahead and take the reinforced steel. Weird Ghost, we don't really need. Landmines would be a regeneration, so I could take this for the fairy, but I think we're just going to roll past it. I'll take 3 regeneration, though, that's more efficient. And Alien Magic, I don't really need luck that much at this point. Gummy Berserker, I will also take because 5 attack speed is relevant. No, I was thinking I could take it because the attack speed is good, the range is fine, and the armor loss isn't that huge. We get a regeneration because we don't have one. But losing 1 armor, I think, is one way that we could lose this run. Just making it so that the bosses do more damage to me doesn't seem like a good plan. I'm trying to stay away from the consumables until I have full health, just so we can proc our extra stomach. And then we can run over and pick those up for the 8 maximum HP. Extra stomach did cost me some regen, I guess, but I think the 8 HP was still worth it. And wave 19 going very well. I'm gonna check the baby elephant damage as well. Now that we have Sif's relic too. Curious how that is performing. Made 1,539. Definitely going to take the wings here. We won't take fertilizer. We'll take beanie. And here I'm just going to take 2 flat damage, because flat damage is the thing we need the most. So let's take a look. Baby Elephant actually dealt 46,000 damage. Yeah, it was more than... We only had it for 1 wave. Had these 2 for 1 wave. So these each dealt 23k. So I should have picked this up earlier. Turns out that was a mistake. When enemies were dropping 7 materials, it's just so much value. So I should have taken Baby Elephant. Cyberball was not worth picking up, because I've had these for many more waves and they've dealt way less damage because these trigger off of enemy deaths, not off of material pickup. So just bad analysis of those 2 items by me for this run. Take the wings. Another Baby with a Beard. Doesn't really seem like it's going to do anything. I'm just going to roll past all this, actually. Lucky Coin. We have negative crit chance. I will take Ugly Tooth. That can help keep the bosses in place for us to kill them. And Spicy Sauce, I don't think we care about. I'll take the head injury. Roll here. Robot Arm doesn't do anything. Dangerous Bunny doesn't do anything because we can just reroll for 46 instead of spending 100 on a free reroll. Jelly, I don't think we care about that HP. I really just want more damage, so I'm just going to buy anything that gives us damage. Keep rolling. Keep rolling. Leather Vest does increase our survivability, so I will buy it. And Panda, I guess, is 12. HP, but for minus 5% damage. Stone Skin cost me attack speed, which isn't hugely important. So I'm going to pick up the Stone Skin here, just to give us a little bit more margin to not get killed by the enemies. And then I'll spend 1% damage just to have the bag, because I like bag. And then let's go to wave 20. So then we're going to try to focus these guys down as quickly as we can. Ideally not even lose our tardigrade, which we did not. And so we were able to build enough damage to obliterate the bosses very, very quickly, despite having wisdom, thanks to having, like, Retrimation's hoodie and stuff. So that was a really fun run. I actually think this was a more strategic and interesting run than I was expecting, and I recommend it. I think we had to make some good decisions in order to win. It wasn't, like, the hardest run in the world, but I think some of the decisions we made were pretty interesting, and we could have made them incorrectly and not won the run. Looking at our economy items, we had 3 bags, although one we got in the last wave, worth 765, so despite the few enemies on the field, bag is still great. Coupon, of course, gave us a bazillion savings because we spent so much money. Scars were excellent. Let me check the DPS. Yeah, 46k on the minigun versus 70k on the laser gun. Yeah, thereabouts. So the minigun was a little worse than a level 4 laser gun. Would have been a little worse than a level 3 laser gun, in my opinion, but was better than the level 1 that we had at the time, so it was a good upgrade, I think. But minigun not as good for single target damage as laser gun, which is one of the best weapons in the game for that. Crown gave us 60 stats, so that worked out reasonably well for us. Trying to build into crit chance with the tentacle and stuff like that did not work out well. And a couple other decisions that I made that were wrong were not buying the baby elephants earlier, even when we had low luck. Just because we would get so many triggers every time an enemy died. I think they would have been good for damage output regardless. Alright, my friends, I hope that you enjoyed that triple jack run. That one was a blast to play. And as always, of course, if you did enjoy the video, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. It helps me out a ton with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, my friends. I'll catch you next time.